Demolition stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Naomi Watts, and Chris Cooper is from the director of the critically acclaimed films Dallas Buyers Club and Wild. I think his name is Jean-Marc. It's probably pronounced differently, even though it's spelled Jean-Marc, but I mean, the guy's French, and if I pronounce it wrong, I apologize to the French and everyone else. In this film, Jake Gyllenhaal plays a guy named Davis. He is a successful investment broker, and he loses his wife in a tragic car accident, and he doesn't feel any emotion towards it. He just seems to hide it. But then because of this, he starts to go downhill in his life, and he realizes that he needs to demolish his whole life, and he goes through all this other stuff and realizes who he really is, and we have our movie. Now, I liked the last two films that the guy directed. I thought those films were really superb, and I was looking forward to this film because of the talent involved. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love where this guy's been going for the last few years. I really like Naomi Watts, and Chris Cooper's he's a genius of an actor. So you can't go wrong with the talent involved with this movie. I've been hearing mixed things about it since its premiere at TIFF, and I'm like, that's interesting to hear. And it looked like a good film, but it didn't look like it was going to be incredible. But because of the talent involved, you couldn't refuse. And I like the film. Let's start with the positives. Jake Gyllenhaal is very, very good in this film. This isn't like the strongest performance he's given, and it's probably the weakest performance he's given in a while, but it's still a good performance in his career. He's just kind of very restrained in this film, and you can understand why because his character's like that, but it's not like an Oscar-worthy performance like the last few performances, like his performance in Nightcrawler, or Southpaw, or Prisoner's Enemy. It's just a good performance. Naomi Watts was also very good. I just love that woman to death. Her character was also very interesting. She's been going through some problems of her own, and she did a very good job. And Chris Cooper, I think, gave the best performance of this film. He was fantastic. He played Jake Gyllenhaal's father-in-law / boss, and he did a terrific job. He was trying to tell Jake Gyllenhaal, you gotta feel something towards your wife's death, and he doesn't feel anything. And it's kind of upsetting, but he does a very good job in this film trying to help Jake Gyllenhaal's character. And I will give a shout out to the kid that plays Naomi Watts' son, who bonds with Jake Gyllenhaal, and basically they help each other out through their problems and stuff. And I will say that this was a good child performance. It wasn't fantastic, but for what he had to do, it was good, but there were some cliches towards his character that kind of annoyed me. Or the other positives, I liked the way it was shot. I liked the scope of New York City. Yeah, it was fast-paced movie. It moved at a nice pace. It wasn't like slow or anything, but it moved at a swift pace. It wasn't like too fast. It wasn't too slow. That may be a problem to some people, but I enjoyed it. What about my negatives? The writing is not really the strongest point of the film. There's some weird aspects of the dialogue in this film, and like I said, there were a lot of cliches in this film, but some of them work and some of them don't. Also, what I will say is that the story is something we've seen before. It's nothing different, it's something simple, but it just wasn't as well executed as it could have been. But that being said, it was executed well, but just not extremely well executed like the director's last few films. Like Dallas Buyers Club had a really good story about pretty much this guy going through the troubles of having AIDS, and Wild was going through someone who had an issue with drugs, and she was trying to recover herself. This one is just a man who loses his wife. It doesn't feel like that, but then he starts to realize that maybe he didn't feel anything towards this woman. So it was an interesting way to tell the story, but it wasn't as well executed as it could have been. So overall, Demolition was a good film. It wasn't great or anything. I know I may sound like I'm talking a lot of negative aspects of the film, but to be quite honest, I liked the film. There just wasn't as much excitement in this film as there could have been. It's not an Oscar-worthy film. At times it acts like one, probably because of the director involved with the film. So this was a good film, just not the great film that I wanted it to be, and Jake Gyllenhaal didn't give the fantastic performance like I thought he would, but he still did a really, really, really good job. All the acting was great, the writing was okay, the direction was fine, I liked the way it was shot, and I liked the soundtrack of the movie too. So yeah, Demolition gets a solid B. Guys, tell me down below what you thought of this movie. If you saw it, what's your favorite Jake Gyllenhaal film? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.